everyone. It's time for Alive with CCO. We're at episode number 105. I always say the same thing. Excellent topic today, and it's true again. We get the questions that come in from you wanting answers, and our CCO Live is a great way to get those answers. It's a casual conversation between us and you, where you feel free to make comments in the chat as we go along. It's not as strategic in the conversation. We want to just help you understand the basics that's going to make you be a success in our industry. The question that had come in, and we get this all the time: how to get started in medical coding. Through the years, we've had people who are making career changes in the medical field, whether they're uh, clinicians and then they decide that they want to get out away from the one-on-one patient care that they'd been on. Maybe the nurses no longer can be on their feet like they have been in the past, and they want a job where they still get to stay in the industry and use the skills they've learned. However, they don't want to be exposed to the germs anymore. The face-to-face patient care has taken its toll, and they just want to step back a little bit. This is a great avenue for them. And then we've had people that didn't make lateral moves, or say they've made lateral moves where they're in billing revenue cycle, but they've decided, hey, it's time for me to bring up my skill set and get into the medical coding so that I have a opportunity to have dual knowledge and come at both fronts to do a job even better for my employer or my future employer. And then it could be somebody that's coming in from left field. I remember it seemed like 1 year, all of a sudden, it was these truck drivers. I kept getting truck drivers that were changing careers. And I thought that was kind of funny that it was one time after another. Of course, when we educate, we always do a one-on-one personal onboarding call with our new students. The coach does, and we get to know them. We get to know their goals and what their plans are with their future career, and answer questions. So we get to know about their background, which is a lot of fun for us. But the question that we get most often is how to get started in medical coding. So someone finds us on YouTube, or they hear about us from word of mouth, and they want to know, what do I have to do? What are the basics? Don't bombard me with all this high level information. Just tell me the basics. I'm seeing some great names out there, people I know. Hi, Carmen. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Sonia. That's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to talk about how to get started. So if this is something that you are interested in, that this is a career choice that you are considering, or maybe you're already in the industry or in taking your education, and you've thought, hey, I've got a friend that I really don't know what to tell them. They've asked me about my journey, but what do I say? Send them this way. Let them look at this video, and you can find us on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and we'll answer the questions for them. Let's talk it step by step. I've got 3 steps. The first thing that a person who is looking and getting started in medical coding needs to think about is talking to other people in the industry. So when I said that you are already working, or you're in the middle of your educational journey, and somebody else comes to you and says, how do I get started in this? They're doing the first step. They're asking somebody that's already doing it. But if this is a completely new career change for you, or you're looking at a first career even, you need to network. And one of the best ways to network is go to the credentialing organizations like AHIMA and the AAPC. There's some others that get involved with or touch medical coding that have chapters, whether it be local chapters that go by towns or state. get involved with them. I know with the AAPC, they allow you to go, I believe, 3 times. I know at least 2 times to visit without being a member, sit in on the meetings. And in the past, they didn't have as many online meetings as they have now. So as a person that can get on the internet and check out multiple towns near you, you can go to one of their online lecture meetings. But it's not the same as going to an event that they're having. And I can tell you the holidays is a great time to get in with the chapters, especially in December, because they usually have a Christmas party and everybody's eager to talk about the new year. And this would be an excellent time, again, for you to network with people that may not normally come to the chapter meetings. Christmas is an excellent time. If you're curious about how to find local chapters in your area, feel free to ask on our forum, and I'll tell you how to do that later on the CCO Club. So you need to ask people that are already in the industry questions. The first thing that I would suggest that you ask is, what does a typical day look like in your world? From the time you get up and start working to the time you clock out. And the reason I say that is some people work from home and some people don't. So you want to know the difference in those 2 avenues. A lot of people that look at this career think, well, I want to work remote. That's one of the reasons I'm thinking about this job change. It's not always what it's cracked up to be. And even 5 years ago, I would have said it's really hard to work remote starting out. But that's not the case now. New coders are being hired more frequently than ever before as remote coders. And there's some avenues that it's easier to start out as a new coder, which we often talk about here at CCO. And one of those is risk adjustment. But if you sign up for a course, that's a conversation you can have with your coach. But in the meantime, as you're just putting those fingers out and feelers and meeting people in the industry, that, what's a typical day look like? Now, we've done videos in the past, and we've got them linked here that, on YouTube, what's a typical day look like? I would encourage you to watch that. And then ask them what they wish they knew before they got into the industry. Some of them will have been in the industry for a couple decades, and what they, in retrospect, from what they wish they knew versus somebody that's just starting out and maybe completed their education and gotten certified and has just started working, there's a few things that they could probably highlight and tell you is, one, I wish I would have gone to schooling where I could have continued to network with my peers and the people that I got my education from. And we do that at CCO because we've got a forum. And I know that I'm still in contact with a lot of my former students, and give a shout out if you're one of my former students and you're visiting tonight. That's going to be very beneficial to you. They will have learned things in retrospect that will benefit you. Now, find out what career goals they had through the years and how they achieved them. Because even though if somebody that's been in for 2 decades, they're not probably still an in the trench coder. They've probably morphed their roles through the years and had opportunities either that they've pursued or kind of fallen into their laps. What did they do to get those opportunities? Or what was something that they wanted and they achieved it? How did they get there? Was it getting another certification? Was it doing all the jobs that nobody wanted to do in the office? Was it volunteering at your local chapter to talk about changes in the new year for the codes? Was it networking on forums? There's a lot of different ways that it would allow you to advance your career or find opportunities that you may not have known were out there. I can tell you that most people that have been coding for a while probably had no idea that they would be doing something now that they're doing now. In retrospect, when they look back, it's like, I really never thought that I would be the supervisor or the auditing lead for a department in risk adjustment, or I never thought that I would have started out in coding and got into the revenue cycle, and I absolutely love it. Or vice versa, that I started out in billing at a hospital, and next thing I know, I was asked to train on inpatient coding because there was a need. So those are valid and excellent questions to ask. It also kind of broadens your horizons as to what your opportunities could be. And if you find something that resonates with you, then you can write that down and set goals for yourself. And again, when we have those personal one-on-one calls with our students once they signed up for our courses, we try to weed those out and kind of pick what the person is thinking, give them validation if that's a great career choice based on their past experience, or tell them opportunities they may not know are available to them because of their past experiences. So people that were clinicians, LPNs, RNs, MAs, they make great CDI people and get into provider education maybe. Step 2, take a look at what you already know. Build on the skills that you already have. Now, I have to tell you right now, medical terminology and anatomy is required for success. The more you know about terminology and anatomy, the medical terminology and anatomy is going to make the coding world easier for you. If you don't have that under your belt, you need to make sure that you find an opportunity to learn to work in that arena, whether it be you get one of the approved textbooks for anatomy and terminology, and you work through that on your own because you had a college course and you just need a refresher. Or one of the things that we've done at CCO is that now when you buy a full course, you get to pick a free ancillary course. And the ancillary courses, for example, that we have is medical terminology and anatomy, a brilliant course. Everybody loves it. And the textbook we use is fabulous. And then you could say, well, I've got that under my belt. I'm really savvy with that. But pharmacology, I'm not very good with those medications. The pharmacology course that we offer is so full, and I'd say it's packed with a lot of information that you probably didn't even know that you knew. For example, common medications that are used for other things. So did you know that aspirin is a blood thinner? It's not just for a toothache or a headache, so that's interesting. And also talking about plant-based medicines that are used and for certain treatments, and then how those are used to make medications that you get at the pharmacy. Really fascinating course. So that could be one that you pick. But we also have courses in, say, ICD-10 or a PCS, ICD PCS, if you want to bring your skill set even higher, above and beyond what you already get in the course. So, but know that you're going to struggle if you don't know medical terminology and anatomy. And CCO offers that as an additional course because we know how important it is. Computer skills, basic Microsoft and Google. I have to tell you that through the years, I've been required to work in every single one of these that are listed. Now, for the most part, we are working in Word. We've had to do Word documents. Maybe the email that you use is Outlook or Gmail. But have you had an opportunity to work in Teams? Have you used OneNote before? Because the first time that I had to experience OneNote, I really struggled. It was bulky. It didn't feel comfortable at all. And the person my peer at the position that I had used it all the time. And I just, I wasn't very comfortable with it. I didn't like it. And once I got in there and started using it, it was brilliant. It was so easy to take, especially notes for meetings. Google Drive, Google Docs. If you need to save notes or be able to put information together and then save it on your computer so that when you log on to another computer, you're able to have that information at your fingertips. Google Spreadsheets is a counterpart to Excel. If you're in risk adjustment, especially, then Excel is going to be something it's a spreadsheet. Knowing how to work with spreadsheets is going to be important. Now, you can get a lot of that information off of YouTube, or you can go take mini courses, a lot of online areas where you can bring up your knowledge. We have a fabulous YouTube video where I remember taking you through Excel and showing all the risk adjustment ways that we used that tool on a daily basis, capturing HCCs and stuff. Communication skills. This is important no matter what job you have. Are you going to be able to in person speak to somebody and not feel intimidated because you're talking to a doctor or a supervisor, whether it be in a phone call or a one-on-one meeting? Be able to feel confident to ask questions, and also to share your own insight. You want to be able to learn to do that. And online, that also is important, not just if you're working remote. You're all the time messaging, instant messaging your peers and coworkers while you're working, and you want to be articulate when you do that. Tone comes through in messages. There are certain people who have the personality where they read too much into a statement that comes through in the messenger, and then there's other people that don't seem to get the hint when you're trying to subtly tell them stuff. So there's learning how to work with chat, email etiquette is extremely important. And knowing those basic skills with email is absolutely going to be important. You're going to be using these tools daily, as well as the platform that your employer wants you to use. So they may use Teams, but they also may have a platform that they are logging in all of the codes that are being captured. And there is a lot of different EMR systems. There's the big ones, like Epic, for example, and you can go get online snippets of how to use Epic, which I would encourage you to do. If you're going to interview for a position, make sure you find out what EMR system they use, and then go out and Google it and learn whatever you can in advance, because you'll still go through training, but at least that way you're not going in cold. You've got terms under your belt. Now, Mila says, do you have a class on etiquette? We don't, but we talk about it a lot, and we have YouTube videos on that. And if that is a topic that you would like to have us do, we will do it. So excellent thought, Mila. I love that. Shabu says, what will be the best exam to take after the CPC? We've done multiple videos on that are up on YouTube. I would encourage you to go look at those. When you go to our YouTube channel, you can just go into the search bar on our channel. And if you haven't already subscribed, do so. You can hit the bell and you can be notified when we have new content coming out, which is at least a minimum twice a week. But Shabu, there are several, and when a person is one of our students, say they did education with us, we talk about that, even if they're working for the CPC, and we start talking about, do you think you want to get another credential after that, or having a second phone call halfway through the course or right before you graduate our course, and say, what are your career goals? Was there a particular area that you really liked? Sandra Bowers, reach out to the help desk. Okay, that'll be very, very helpful to you as well. I'm going to scroll up just quickly and see, because I saw a couple other questions. Sandra's there. What about a CCS exam prep? Yeah, we have that. Again, we can go to the cco.us website, Natasha, and we'll be able to to assist you with that. It's very important to have those exam preps. We have something called a BLETS that will allow you to get your manuals prepped for testing. Let's move on to number 3. Find the right place to get your education. Now, we have talked about this multiple times, and we just bulleted out 3 things you want to do when you start looking, but we have other videos, questions to ask before you start your education, or if you see a particular place that you think you want to get your education, ask these questions before you do. You should ask other people. That would be helpful. And then when you want to find the right place, you do not need a degree. Now, I'm not saying that getting a degree is a bad thing. That is not true, especially if you wanted to get into leadership roles. But there's so many medical coding and billing college classes out there. They usually give you a degree, but a lot of times it's still a certificate for passing. And that isn't necessarily something that you have to get into this industry. You just need to be able to pass the exam. You need to take courses to learn how to use the code sets. And then the courses should, if they're really good, prep you for the exam that you choose, whether it be, say, the CPC or the CCS that was already mentioned. Both excellent core credentials. And again, a college degree is not necessary. You do not have to pay $30,000 for your education to be a coder. For us, we have like a $997 course, and then you get a free ancillary course with that. So by the time you pay, you do have to pay for your manuals, you do have to pay for your tests, but you can absolutely check in with CCO and get those questions answered before you join a school. You can complete a course in as little as 4 months. Now, this is brilliant. The reason it's so important to know, now, not everybody can get done in 4 months. However, you can if you choose to put the time in. That's going through at least a couple chapters a week. And if you have a full-time job and you have time in the evenings to do that, if you're taking a course online through us, you're able to pick when you want to do your education. You have that call with your coach and you say, I plan to work mostly on the weekends, or I plan to commit on Tuesdays and Thursdays because I have free time then. Or if you have children and you say, I'm going to work in the mornings while they're out playing, so on and so forth. So again, your coach can walk you through that. But if you're driven, you can get done in 4 months. A lot of people, after talking to their coach, they'll commit to 6, but we give you the course for 9 months. So you've got plenty of time to get through them. Nori says, I see different schools offering different certifications. What's the difference between the CPCS, CPC, CCA, MCBC? A lot of those, Nori, is who the organization is that you're going to credential with. So the CPC is with AHIMA, the CCS or the CCA is with, excuse me, I said that absolutely incorrectly. The AAPC has the CPC. Okay, that is an outpatient credential. Allows you to do a little bit of everything. Whereas AHIMA has the CCA and the CCS. That is geared more towards inpatient settings. But again, you're able to do both with those credentials. The other credentials, they are based on who the credentialing company is. Some carry no weight at all. Some are very heavy weighted. I would encourage you to see the ones that are most popular in your area, whether you go through AHIMA or the AAPC, and what type of coding that you want to get into. Do you want to get into outpatient, inpatient, for example? Find out if there's a local chapter for one or the other in your area. If you want to specialize and stay with the credentialing organization, we did a fabulous webinar, and it's up on YouTube, regarding which organization to align yourself with. And so AHIMA or the AAPC, pretty comparable. They both have positive and negative things to say about them, but it really depends what your career goals are. You can go with both of them, but you do have to pay in dues to both of them. So that's something that I would encourage you to talk with your peers when you're networking, going to the local chapters and asking them, or if you know somebody that's in the industry already. Also, check out those videos we've already done where we've discussed them. That'll be beneficial to you. You need to know the reputation of the school that you choose. I have to tell you that the number one comment that we get time and time again is, I wish we'd found CCO first. We've heard some horror stories, and we've heard stories where they paid the money in to get their education and their teaching style didn't resonate with that particular person, or they didn't get the support they thought they would need, or they just felt like it was a regurgitation of everything in the book, but it wasn't expanded upon. Do your research. You want to be able to talk to the people that have had the education through that particular school. Be very careful of looking at feedback, and make sure they're real students and not employees. Colleges aren't preparing students for certification exam. That is absolutely true. It's not their goal. And schools like CCO do, because you can't get a job unless you're certified. If you're getting a degree, that isn't their purpose. Their purpose is to educate you, but what you do after education, getting the certification exam, that's not up to them. And so that's another reason why you have to consider your options and the money that you're putting into your education when you want to break into the industry. What is their long-term goal with you? To just get you to have 60 hours in a degree, an associate's degree? Are you going to get a bachelor's degree? And what's that going to benefit you in the career world? Is it required? No, but maybe there's a particular job that you want to get an associate's degree in healthcare administration. That's brilliant. And then you're going to go into supervisory and management roles. I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying that those are not roles. That's not a coding job. You have to have one of those certifications that was mentioned before that goes to the CPC or the AAPC or a HEMA to be able to get hired as a medical coder. So look at the different schools, find out their teaching style. It's really important to do that. I've mentioned before, we have all that education on YouTube, so you can see our teaching style, see if other people that are doing that have that. And if they don't, find out if you can audit a particular class or see one of their videos to be able to, and how much support you get. Do you get a coach? And we did a video recently on that, and I encourage you to go and look at some of those key topics about picking the right school before you move forward. Now, I've got a bonus here. Attitude is extremely important when you want to break into the medical coding industry. One of the reasons is having a positive attitude really drives productivity. And not only as a student, but as an employee. So if you go into this with a poor attitude, you're not going to succeed. When you have an employee with a positive attitude, they're going to be more engaged and motivated when they're working. That's ideal. And they tend to be productive. You're more proactive. You're excited about your job. So when you see something that needs somebody's attention, you're right in there ready to help them. And if you have had good education, you'll be able to pick up on those particular things. the video on what to ask a medical coding school, Jesus just put that up. That is a great video to watch. Let's see. Also, enhance problem solving. If you have a positive attitude, that encourages you to be solution orientated mindset. It gives that to you, and I do know that a lot of coding jobs are remote, and they are always shifting and changing the rules, what they want you to do now. It's never drone work, I can tell you that. So if you have a positive attitude and there is a problem that everybody's having, you will be encouraged to help solve, be part of the team, solve the problem. And being positive gives you that can-do attitude that everybody likes. You can identify challenges and obstacles moving forward. I have to also say resilience in the face of a challenge. When you're in the medical coding industry, there are challenges at every turn. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's a good thing. It keeps you on your toes. However, you can't be overwhelmed by that. You have to have a positive attitude going in, knowing that, hey, I know that we're struggling with getting this many charts done in an 8-hour period, but I am not able to meet my goals yet. So a positive attitude on meeting that goal or assisting one of your peers and your coworkers to do that, or going above and beyond the challenge. If they want you to get, 4 charts in an hour and you get to that point and say, hey, you know what, I want to be able to do 5, or that I know that we're struggling with coding the different types of hypertension. And in our last audit, we all scored kind of low on that. I found this great video or this great article on how to code the different types of hypertension and how it applies to all these other diseases. That is excellent, right? That shows that you're resilient. You can also take criticism when you have a positive attitude, and it shows that you're resilient in the face of a challenge. It allows you to look at those challenges as opportunities from growth. A coder will always be audited, always. So if you're not able to take feedback, whether it's positive or negative, and most of the time it's negative, that's going to be a thorn in your side. So always embrace being audited. Always embrace somebody telling you how you can improve, and ask them, what do you have any tools for me to get better? A positive attitude enables a student to bounce back from setbacks and academic difficulties. When you're going through our course, every time you take a chapter exam, you get feedback from your coach almost immediately. And sometimes you bomb one of the exams, and it's not any fun. But I can tell you that our coaches turn around and she's like, I know you didn't do well. You'll take it again and you'll nail it this time. Or did you have problems with the rationale? Did you understand what you missed? Because if you didn't, that's a problem. Ask me a question. Tell me what you didn't understand so that I can explain it in a different way. That is going to make you better. It's okay when you miss questions. I tell my students all the time, I hope you do miss questions because we write amazing rationales. And sometimes the rationale puts you over the top, right? And if you had not missed it, you may not see that rationale. It also cultivates that resilience that we already talked about, and the ability to persevere through any type of challenging task. So if you're a student and you learn how to be resilient and you cultivate that aspect of the way you learn, that's going to move over to your personality as an employee. And it is no fun to learn a new type of coding if you keep getting hit down, and it can be a challenge. I've always said I wanted to get into interventional radiology, but I know it's really, really hard. And we've interviewed Stacy Buck, who we usually refer people to when they're wanting to learn interventional radiology. And I keep saying, oh, I'd really like to learn this, but I know it's hard. And so I put it off. But I have a positive attitude, and I know that when I choose to do that, because of that positive attitude, I've learned how to overcome the challenges when I pull the trigger and decide to learn that particular type of coding. Stacy's website, by the way, is radrx.com. If that's an area that you're interested in, it would be a great second credential. It is not a credential that you'd want to go into as a first credential. Interventional radiology is unique, and you really got to know the anatomy of the cardiovascular system. And it's a challenge, but it's exciting. It pays well, and it's in big demand. So that takes me back to when you talk to a coach and you talking about your career goals, and when you're going through the courses, if there's a particular area that fascinates you in your course, you tell your coach, hey, I absolutely loved this chapter on cardiology. Is there something that I can do to specialize in that? Yeah, you can get your CCC, which is a cardiology credential, or you can get a CERT credential, and these are the tools that would help you on that to continue your journey. Excellent reason to have a coach. So we've already gotten one topic request tonight. Officially, to submit a topic request, you go to cco.us/topic-request. You've had some excellent questions, and I appreciate them. So as you've listened, if there's something that you think that we could flesh out for you, explain a little better, or you have a question completely on another area of coding, just like I was talking about the CERT credential, or our opinion on the HEMA versus the AAPC based on yours already known skill set, absolutely let us know, and we'll do that for you. Mila, thank you so much for the kind words. We're here for you to answer your questions. You can also go out to the CCO Club at cco.us/club and ask questions if you're not already a member. The one thing that we want to make sure that you know, though, is that it is a fabulous industry to get into. It is a relatively minimal investment when you look at the pay scale, and and the time frame that you can get this education. We want to be here for you as educators. We want to answer your questions, but we also want you to know that we love what we do. And because we love what we do, and we hope that shows that we're passionate about it, that it's fun to learn with us. So absolutely check out the cco.us website and let us know how we can help you. So good night, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.